Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready? Got some stuff I wanted to talk about here. Frankly, there's just so much going on the last few days. I mean, it seems to be, insane. I mean, from the fighting going on that erupted here between Israel and Iran, and the shit going on here in this country. I mean, keeping up with the news is becoming a real colossal pain in the ass, I'll tell you right now. But anyway, I want to start with this story here from the AP. It's about the two people that were shot in Minnesota. It says here, a man posing as a police officer shot and killed a Minnesota lawmaker and her husband in a brazen attack at their home on Saturday this morning, early Saturday morning, about 2 a.m. rather, I think is when it happened. And a second lawmaker and his wife were wounded in a separate shooting in what Governor Walz described as, quote, targeted political violence, unquote. Police were searching for the gunman responsible for the attacks on the Democratic legislatures. Writings found inside of a fake police car recovered at one of the shooting scenes mention the names of multiple lawmakers and other officials, Brooklyn Park Police Chief Mark Bruley said. Two people familiar with the matter identified the suspect being sought as 57-year-old Vance Boelter, B-O-E-L-T-R. The people could not publicly discuss details of the ongoing investigation and spoke to the AP on condition of anonymity. Melissa Hortman, a former Minnesota House Speaker, and her spouse were shot and killed early Saturday in their Brooklyn Park home. A second state lawmaker, Senator John Hoffman, and his wife were shot multiple times in Champlin. Officials say both Hortman and Hoffman were mentioned in the suspect's writings. Quote, when we did a search of the vehicle, there was a manifesto that identified many lawmakers and other officials. We immediately made alerts to the state. We took action on alerting them and providing security where necessary, unquote, said Bruley. State Patrol Colonel Christina Bogovic asked people, quote, out of an abundance of caution, unquote, not to attend any of the, quote, no kings, unquote, protests that were scheduled for across the nation on Saturday today. Bogovic said authorities didn't have any direct evidence that the protests would be targeted, but said the suspect had some, quote, no kings, unquote, flyers in their car. Organizers announced that all of the protests across the state were canceled. Hours after the shootings, hundreds of police and sheriff deputies from departments in the region, some in tactical gear with assault-style weapons, were scattered through the town. Occasional police roadblocks where cars were stopped and checked. Walz said Hortman and Hoffman were deliberately targeted. Quote, we must all in Minnesota and across the country stand against all forms of political violence, unquote, Walz said at a press conference Saturday. Quote, those responsible for this will be held accountable, unquote. Hoffman, a Democrat, was first elected in 2012. He previously served as vice chair of the Anoka-Hennepin School Board, which manages the largest school district in Minnesota. Hoffman and his wife have one daughter. He represents a district north of Minneapolis. At the time of her death, Hortman was the top Democratic leader in the state legislature. She was also a former House Speaker. She was first elected in 2004. She and her husband had 2 children. Drew Evans, superintendent of the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, said that authorities were actively searching for the suspect. Autopsies will be done to determine extent of injuries, but Hortman and her spouse died from gunshot wounds, Evans said. A, quote, shelter-in-place, unquote, order was in effect early Saturday. Okay, yeah. So most of you probably already heard that on the news, but I'll tell you, when it comes to blame, all right, I think that there can only be one cause for this to happen, okay? And it can't be any other than just Donald Trump, okay? He's created a level of anger and anxiety in this country that has not been seen in decades, okay? And because his party, the MAGA movement, is much like a cult party, these people, and we saw this on January 6th, these people have no compunction about fucking crossing the line and doing the unthinkable, all right? And this is what's happened here, okay? I know one of these people was asked if these people that were shot were targeted because they were Democrat. Of course they were. Because everybody knew there was going to be this big protest today across the country. You know, the No Kings protest, okay? Everybody knew this was going to happen. And people were intense on having that protest. And I'll tell you, you know, these MAGA folks, they are vicious. They can't stand it that people are against them. Now, here's my theory, okay? This is a theory, I ain't got any proof. But considering the detail of what they were saying about who this person was that shot these people, he had police uniform, he had a police vehicle, okay, police uniform and a police vehicle. He had all the accoutrements to look like a cop. What's to say that this guy wasn't a cop? They're saying that the guy wasn't a cop, that he was impersonating a cop. Okay, that's possible. I mean, you can go to any army surplus store and you can grab a whole shitload of stuff off the rack there in these places and come out looking like a member of law enforcement, okay? And you can get badges online. I know I've seen things on eBay that are police looking, and you can really, you know, fool somebody. But to take their vehicle and go through the whole thing of making it look, I mean, that's, you know, word gets around, you know, and that leaves a trail. He could have stole the police car. I don't know. They said that he fled on foot, so he doesn't have it now. So he's out there, you know, maybe he stole another car. I don't know. But I have a theory that this guy could have been a cop. You know, the police forces in this country are just as diverse as the public. You got Democrats, you got Republicans in the police force, just like you got them in the military, okay? And I think right now where there's a lot of distrust with law enforcement, especially when it comes to ICE, okay, they don't want people to take their anger out on the cops in general, okay? So I think that in the interest of keeping peace, they're just saying that it was an imposter. Now, I could be wrong, okay? I could fucking very well be wrong. But it just seems like I'm you know, my gut's telling me that maybe this guy was a cop, okay? And he just flipped out and, you know, and it's possible. MAGA can be that devious. I mean, there were a lot of people, a lot of veterans on January 6th that showed up, you know, doing stuff to the Capitol, okay? I don't think anybody would have expected that veterans would have done stuff like that, but they did. And we've had a history of some cops out there being bad and being racist, you know, beating on people and stuff like that. So we know that there are elements in these organizations, the military and the police, that have their, you know, people that you can't really trust, okay? But like I said, they're probably not going to. If it comes out that the guy was a cop, they're not going to say it. Okay, they're just going to have people, you know, beware. Okay, if a cop comes to your door and he's alone, call 911 to see if a police officer has been dispatched to your residence. In that state, I think what's happening is they're pairing up the cops, so that way it looks more legit. If somebody shows up and he's with a cop, then chances are that's a legitimate, you know, police visit. Okay, but if it's a person that's alone and you don't feel safe, you're by yourself, call 911, you know, and ask them, was a police officer sent to this address, and they'll check it for you. They'll call dispatch and confirm it. Okay. It's unfortunate that we have to take these extra steps, but it's prudent, okay? And I'm sure the police right now today can understand anyone having a little bit of hesitation about, you know, letting cops come in or whatever, okay? But like I said, that's my theory. That's my, you know, my hunch, basically, that this guy really was a cop, okay? And like I said, I could be fucking wrong, and if I am, you know, I'm happy about it, because I think we've had enough shit thrown at cops. But these ICE agents, on the other hand, they go around with caps, you know, face masks and shit like that. And I can't remember where it was, but they told people that they were not allowed to wear, not ICE, not police, but just you, me, the citizens. We weren't allowed to wear face coverings, okay, so we can be identified. And I'm thinking, well, if that's not okay for the civilians to go to these protests and cover their face, then why is it okay for ICE and all these people to cover their faces and go round up people without a warrant, without due process? You know, why is it okay for them? See, a problem right there, and it looks bad on the surface. People get pissed, okay? And like I said, this is, you know, a really unfortunate thing, but it can all be tied right to Trump's doorstep, because if it wasn't for him ratcheting up the tension levels in this country, these things wouldn't be happening today. There wouldn't be any protests. There wouldn't be shots, people getting killed, you know, legislative. There wouldn't be any of this stuff. Protests. This would be a normal fucking day. Okay, today would be a normal day in this country, you know. But no, we couldn't have that. You know, MAGA had to have chaos, because that's what these people like. Trump gives them chaos, and they love it. All right? And I'm just, you know, I'm not surprised that this happened, and I'm sure more of it's going to happen later on down the road, you know, because you can't 100% protect everybody, okay? There's no way. So there'll be other people probably getting killed, you know, that'll come out later on. I don't know, but I'm hoping not. But, you know, it's just the idea that there's going to be more assassinations in the days to come. I mean, this shit happened in America before. You know, a lot of important people were assassinated, okay, in this country. And, you know, that, and the fact that we have such a well-armed society here, thanks to the right wing's love of the Second Amendment, there's going to be more gun violence. I mean, it goes without saying. This is the United States. This is why people that from other countries shouldn't come over here, especially right now, because if you're a foreigner, and we got people in this country that don't like foreigners of any kind, okay, if you value your life, you stay the hell out of this country, really. Because we're going through this phase right now where America is trying to figure out what the hell kind of a country it wants to be, and it's getting bloody, you know.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Roxy Sugar, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
80 years ago, the guns fell silent across Europe. The bloodiest war in European history ended with the unconditional surrender of Nazi Germany. This was good versus evil, and good won. They came from small towns and big cities, the men and women of America, ready to die in places they had never heard of, for a people they didn't know. Why did this greatest generation sacrifice so much? Because they understood that freedom is fragile. They believed every human life had dignity. What would these heroes think of what Donald Trump is trying to do to America? Arresting judges, the breakdown of rule of law, a powerful state that disappears its own citizens with no due process, an angry leader who thinks he's all-powerful. They saw it and gave their all to end that evil. Today, 80 years since VE Day, let us honor the greatest generation by holding their values dear. They had different politics, but they knew right from wrong. They knew what it meant to be an American. Now it's our turn to fight for America, to stand up to a darkness that threatens the basic rights of Americans, a leader who believes he is above the law. No one is asking us to charge across a bloody beach. All that's asked of us is that we remember the greatest generation's legacy and prove we're worthy of their sacrifice, that we are worthy to call ourselves Americans.
How to use a pump to get bigger. Hi, I'm Clarissa from Our Doctor, and we're talking about pumps and the benefits of using male enlargement and enhancement vacuum pumps. The male enhancement pump is a very easy to use and effective medical grade device to help men achieve a fuller erection and reduce premature ejaculation. This digital and waterproof device can be issued without a doctor's prescription. How do you use one? It's quite easy. Simply insert your penis shaft into the pump tube, power it up, then choose your desired setting. You may feel a suction, which is a good thing. This is drawing blood into the penis vessels. This causes a swelling effect to give you temporary, more significant, and more complex erection results for up to 24 hours. Permanent results can be achieved with regular daily sessions just by using this pump. If you suffer from erectile dysfunction or are looking to increase your size, this pump is proven to work. Due to genetic or hormonal factors, men born with micropenis or a tiny penis should also consider this product. The reason why is because you have additional skin growth around your penis and it's buried. This condition is not uncommon. However, using a pump like this one or having an outpatient procedure done can resolve this issue. From the men who have used the pump, they'll say it's given them a quarter to a full inch in length after using it for about 5 to 10 minutes before their sexual encounter. Some men like to take either sildenafil or tadalafil in conjunction with this pump, so they can achieve even longer lasting results. If you have any questions about our products or services, you can check us out on our website or call us, and we have doctors and specialists that can answer any of your questions. Thanks for watching. Please like, follow, and subscribe, and post any questions you may have in the comments below. See you next time.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. and some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it. It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Other story here is from The Hill, and this kind of goes to the, what I was talking about here about how Trump is making tension levels in this country hot. This Missouri governor activates the National Guard and declares a state of emergency. And this was published yesterday. Kansas City, Missouri, Governor Mike Kehoe, Republican, on Thursday declared a state of emergency and activated the state's National Guard in anticipation of the protests across the state and in response to civil unrest across the country. Missouri Executive Order 2525 declares a state of emergency and allows the Adjutant General to order service members to aid state officials. The order comes after the Missouri State Highway Patrol, Missouri National Guard, and Missouri Department of Public Safety established a unified command to monitor situations across the state and prepare local law enforcement. Additionally, the order also declares that the Adjutant General may employ necessary equipment to support authorities and provide assistance while nationwide protests continue to flare up in response to the Trump immigration's policies. Kehoe said his orders is purely precautionary. Quote, "We respect and will defend the right to peacefully protest, but we will not tolerate violence or lawlessness in our state," unquote, said the governor. Quote, "While other states may wait for chaos to ensue, the state of Missouri has taken a proactive approach to the event that assistance is needed to support local law enforcement in protecting our citizens and communities," unquote, he added. Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas's office shared a statement Thursday regarding the mayor's concerns about Governor Kehoe's decision. Quote, "Mayor Lucas is concerned with enhanced state enforcement for one set of protesters, but no action or aid to local law enforcement when neo-Nazi march through Missouri's urban streets," unquote. The statement reads, quote, "The mayor has confidence in responsible protesters to use their First Amendment rights peacefully and in compliance with the law. More than 1,000 Kansas Cityans protest peacefully and responsibly just days ago," unquote. Quote, "For those who do not act responsibly, the mayor stands by the men and women of local law enforcement at KCPD and other agencies to handle any necessary enforcement actions," unquote. Additionally, quote, "Unnecessary escalation from our nation's capital and state capitals undermines local law enforcement and makes it less safe," unquote. Missouri House Minority Leader Ashley Oom, Democrat from Kansas City, also reported Thursday, saying the governor's actions are unwarranted. Quote, "Governor Kehoe's preemptive declaration of a state of emergency as Missourians prepare to protest an increasingly authoritarian presidential administration is a blatant attempt to intimidate and suppress First Amendment rights," unquote, she wrote in a statement. Quote, "The protests planned this weekend across Missouri and throughout the nation were sparked by the president's unwarranted and heavy-handed military response to opposition to his policies," unquote, the state lawmaker added. Quote, "By doing the same, the governor will only heighten tensions and increase the possibility of conflict, Governor Kehoe should staunchly defend the rights of Missourians, not mimic the authoritarianism of the president, unquote. The ACLU also condemned the governor's actions, calling it a quote, unnecessary provocation, unquote. Quote, Governor Kehoe's decision to activate Missouri's National Guard serves as an unnecessary provocation to thwart public dissent, unquote, the ACLU wrote. Quote, the right for people to join in protests or peaceful assembly is core to the First Amendment and critical to a functioning democracy. Government and law enforcement officials have the moral and constitutional responsibility to stop the escalation, practice restraint, and allow Missourians to exercise this foundational right, unquote. Quote, it is critical that Missourians who plan on attending know and educate others of their rights around protests and police interactions, unquote. Quote, we emphasize attendees to prioritize de-escalation, even in moments of governmental provocation and fear-mongering, and to look out for one another, unquote. Quote, one of our few Latino senators tries to ask a question of a cabinet secretary over whom he has oversight responsibility and is placed in handcuffs on the ground. Shameful, unquote, he wrote. And he was talking about Senator Padilla, who was forcibly removed from a press conference Thursday. We will not allow what is going on in LA to happen in Missouri. Other state officials have commended Kehoe for his actions. Okay. Representative Mark Alford, Republican, said the governor is sending a strong message. Quote, we support the First Amendment right of every Missourian to peacefully demonstrate, but violence and riots will not be tolerated in the show me state, unquote, Alford wrote on X. Okay, well, you know something? The only reason why things got escalated in LA wasn't because of the protests. It was because of Trump. Trump wanted to create an image of absolute fucking chaos in LA. And he succeeded, okay, because he got the world's attention on that. And that's exactly what he wanted. He wanted people focused on that and what's going on there, okay? And he wanted to send a message loud and clear to the American people that this is what will happen if you stand against me, okay? If you try to harbor any of these people or try to protect, somebody that we're after, your city, your town, your community will look just like this. Okay? That's what he's saying. And then he starts with LA. Okay? And he sends in the guard and all these people. Okay? When you do shit like that, of course people are going to get angry and they're going to riot. We've seen it happen many times in Los Angeles, okay, over the decades, okay? It's always a hotbed for protests there. And so I think that Trump figured that would be the first place to start because he knew this would get everybody's fur up over there really easy. And now you got a Republican governor of Missouri sitting there saying, okay, I'm going to escalate things. I'm going to start doing this shit and stuff like that. Okay, well, people understand. If there's no reason yet, just because these things are happening in other states, he decides he's going to escalate matters in his state by putting more boots on the ground, as it were, okay? Curtailing people's freedoms. Well, what are you going to do? That starts the anger level rising, okay? And before you know it, we're going to be seeing more riots happening, probably in Missouri, over this, okay? Because people don't want to be treated like fucking animals in a zoo. All right, and so, yes, this is going to spread. Like I said, months ago, when Trump was doing this shit. Okay, it's going to spread. It's going to start in small pockets in the country, usually in the major cities and stuff like that, where it'll happen first. Then it's going to spill over into the smaller communities. Okay, and then before you know it, you're going to have military all over the place. And don't argue with me with this military can't turn on the American people, posse comitatus, okay? Don't throw that at me, okay? Trump's ignoring that, so that doesn't even apply here. And the courts won't fucking stop them. So you're gonna see boots in your fucking backyard. You're gonna see you know, with the police, they're going to be troops. I can't imagine something worse that's going to create more anxiety and more hate in this country than having people wake up every morning looking out the window and seeing a tank sitting in their fucking yard. Okay, this is the kind of shit Trump wants to bring to America, and this is why we all need to be pushing Congress. Get serious with the fucking impeachment. Okay, get some people, get the shit on the fucking news. Let people see that, you know, we're gonna hold Trump. Do this. Okay, they need to get on the ball with this thing. Because if they wait too long, Trump will stop Congress right dead in its tracks. Okay? And they won't be able to do a damn thing if they wait. If they don't wait, I mean, now's the time to I mean, they should have been starting this months ago, people. I mean, believe me. But now is the time that they need to get serious about this. They need to fucking do these things. Because if they don't get it done, if they don't get it started, Trump's gunning for Congress, and he's, you know, and really Congress is kind of do nothing Congress right now because they can't do anything. The MAGA people have too much control over it. Same thing with the Senate. Okay, and this is kind of you know, a bad period right now in our government, and I don't think we've ever seen it quite this bad here, at least in a long time. And I'm not so sure that our system of government is going to be strong enough to survive Trump, to be honest. I mean, we've taken for granted that we've gone through so many things in the past and survived it. But we also did things differently in the past, too. And we've held firm to our rules and our principles. We ain't doing that so much anymore now. You can see the weakness, you know, in the party that should be out there, you know, stopping this. We're not seeing that same level of commitment to holding our leaders accountable. I mean, even Nixon, when he was doing the shit that he was doing, he got more fucking pushback than what Trump's getting now. So that's why I'm saying today, I mean, this is a new precedent for American history, where we are all being tested as Americans on where we want to stand. Do you want to go down the road of tyranny? Or do you want to stay on the road of righteousness and democracy? Because, frankly, it doesn't look like people have really decided. Okay, and I'm saying that because we're not hearing a whole lot of shit from the left wing out there. Okay, they're very, you know, quiet, and I feel like, hey, you know, why should it only be the people out there trying to make it known? I mean, if these people who represent communities and represent people in Congress, you know, in Congress, see this happening in their states and their hometowns, don't you think that would be reason enough for them to take the fight into the fucking halls of Congress and start, you know, getting things serious? I mean, come on. The American people are begging our leaders to do something here. Don't just, you know, stay hidden behind in the corners somewhere. Do something. It's important that we do. I mean, Jesus, I just feel like, you know, a lot of people are not seeing enough pushback. We're not seeing enough of it, you know, and it's sad because, you know, I think the only time people will ever actually connect to the fact that these are desperate times and these are very important times that we need to do something is when there's no more avenue to take. There's nobody to bitch to about it. You know, your leaders aren't going to listen to you because they're probably going to be all dead or something. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be too late. So then the responsibility is going to fall on each and every one of us to do something about it. And we all know where that leads, okay? Because there's only one way an average citizen can do anything, you know. So yeah, these are troubling times. On top of what's happening in the Middle East right now, I mean, it's like, fuck. I mean, you know, we could end up being World War III before we know it. Okay, Israel's taking on Iran. Iran is not a slouch. Okay, they can stand their own. Israel is in for the fight of its life if they're going to take on Iran. I don't envy anybody who lives there to stay there. Get the hell out of Israel if you can, because, I mean, don't go to the United States, okay? But get the hell out of Israel, because I'll tell you, you poked a lion And unless you got a lion of your own, okay, that Iran is going to eat that country alive, okay? They can deliver more chaos into Israel than they have seen yet, okay? There won't be a thing left standing over there if they don't stop this shit. If somebody doesn't. I mean, forget Trump trying to do anything to broker a peace. Okay, he can't. He's not a diplomat. Trump isn't going to do a fucking thing but just sit back and let it happen. But, you know, Iran has, you know, allies, Russia being one of them. But Russia right now is in no better shape than, you know, well, it hasn't been. It's really in a bad shape right now. I mean, they're getting their asses kicked by Ukraine, so I don't think they're going to have much to help with Iran. But if Israel thinks that that's a plus on their side, they're mistaken, because, you know, Iran has a lot at its disposal. Okay, we don't even really know, you know, how spread out they are. I mean, they've been attacking Israel with terrorists, but they probably have terrorists all over that goddamn place down there. They don't even know it. So they're in for a hell of a fight. So anyway, that's it for today. Oh, by the way, I hadn't been posting in a couple of days because I broke my old goddamn iPhone. I dropped a staple gun on it, smashed the faceplate, went right through the fucking protective plate, right onto the main screen, cracked both. Yeah, I was trying to put my air conditioner in the window, and I was reaching in the cupboard to get some tape. And when I pulled the tape out, pulled the staple gun out with it, phone was sitting right there, face up, and bang, right on that fucking. I mean, it couldn't have been a more, you know, centered hit than that. And it's broke. It's just fucking broke. So I had to go buy a new phone. Yesterday, I went and got a new phone. So anyway, all right, I'll talk to you guys later. Take care.